Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. However, this finds you, I do hope this finds you well. Listen, I am not going to be on here for a long time, but I am on here for a summertime fine kind of time. Y'all, I cannot believe summer 2025 is almost over. It's crazy. I'm so sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Anyway, we're not going to focus on that too heavy. But what we are going to do is we're going to go into a little bit of escapism. Let's do that because that sounds like so much more fun, right? Today, I am bringing you the next chapter in my short story series, the Hummingbird Chronicles. And I'll give you a little bit of background. Falling for someone after years of protecting your space is its own risk. I don't know if I advise it, but I will say this, and I'm sure you can understand, I'm sure you agree. You get used to doing life on your own terms. You know where every piece of furniture in your place goes. You have your morning coffee. I don't drink my coffee until later, but you know what I'm saying. You know exactly how you like it. You're not checking in with anyone. You move freely. Independence feels safe. It feels good because it is. Okay? But in some instances, someone shows up and suddenly you are leaning over a painting at an art show, maybe laughing at a story they're telling and realizing that you don't remember the last time that you laughed in that way. And you just feel seen. Now, let me say this. You should feel seen without a special someone. You know why? Because you are that special someone. You know, I say you're capable of big things, and I do mean that. But in relationship to other people, you're seen in a different way. You're seen through the lens of that other human. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about somebody seeing you to then validate your experience. We don't do that. And that is where chapter 4 of the Hummingbird Chronicles takes us. Summertime fine, honey. Like I said, we were all needing a little escapism. And so I'm sharing this latest chapter with you in full here on YouTube. It's fun, it's whimsical, it's a bunch of good things, and it captures the spirit of that spark and summertime all at once. So enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side. The Hummingbird Chronicles, Chapter 4, Summertime Fine. The July heat lingered well into the evening, wrapping Brooklyn in that golden, lazy haze that makes you forgive the stickiness clinging to your skin. From the rooftop of a converted warehouse in Dumbo, the East River shimmered below, carrying the faint sound of a saxophone from a street musician on the corner. Morayo stood near the edge, the breeze lifting strands of hair from her neck, a cold glass of white wine sweating in her hand. The exhibit sprawled across the rooftop, splashes of color and texture suspended in the open air, canvases leaning against brick walls, sculptures catching the last light of day. She'd been staring at one painting for a while, an abstract wash of blues and golds that somehow managed to look like sunlight refracted through water. She tilted her head, taking in the way the gold seemed to pulse when the breeze shifted. "That's the artist's favorite," a deep, smooth voice said beside her. She turned, and for a moment her breath caught. He was tall, well over 6 feet, with the carved cheekbones of a young Lorenz Tate, the easy smile of Blair Underwood, and just a hint of Jason Momoa's unbothered swagger. His linen shirt was rolled at the sleeves, revealing forearms that made her forget the heat for a moment. "Oh?" she asked, taking a slow sip of wine. "Yeah," he said, stepping closer, but not crowding her. "Says it reminds him of Lagos just before a storm. The air all charged, light breaking in strange places." She arched a brow. "You've been to Lagos?" "Once. Long enough to remember the smell of harmattan dust and the sound of street vendors at sunrise." The conversation should have stopped there, but it didn't. They drifted from painting to painting, swapping thoughts like old friends who hadn't realized they were overdue for catching up. He asked about her work, not the polite, "What do you do?" but the kind of questions that made her dig past her practiced elevator pitch. She told him about architecture as storytelling, about trying to build spaces that made people feel seen. "You sound like someone who doesn't just work for a paycheck," he said, smiling in a way that made her want to look away and stare at him at the same time. And that was the moment she felt the pull. Warm and dangerous, her instinct was to pull back, to fold herself behind a wall of humor. "So, do you analyze all women you meet at art shows, or am I special?" she teased. He laughed, a low, easy sound that settled somewhere in her chest. "You're special." Hours later, they found themselves on the cobblestone streets below, the heat still clinging to the air. They walked without hurry, talking about books, favorite cities, the weird magic of New York in summer. He didn't check his phone once. When they reached the corner where their paths split, he didn't ask for her number. Instead, he said, "I'll see you again." She should have brushed it off. Instead, she felt the strange certainty that he was right. Back in her apartment, she poured another glass of wine and kicked off her sandals, the cool wood floor a relief after hours on her feet. The window was open, letting in the hum of the city, a mix of car horns, laughter from the street, and a faint siren in the distance. She caught herself smiling as she set the glass down and reached to pull the pins from her hair. She didn't know if it was the wine, the heat, or him. But for the first time in a long time, she wasn't just building bridges for other people to cross. She was thinking about what it might feel like to walk across one herself. Ooh, a summertime fine indeed. Here's a truth, though. Not the truth, but a truth, though. Sometimes it's okay to let someone meet you where you are now, not where you used to be. You don't have to drop every wall down at once. Just enough to open the door and see if this is something worth exploring. Feel me? Because you never know where the connection you've been dodging may actually lead. Before you go, let me leave you with a few questions, just some things to ponder. What walls have you kept up that once served you, but don't necessarily serve you today? Maybe they may be keeping you from what you want now. Where's one safe space that you could practice opening up, but on your own terms? And therapy can count. Last question. What might it feel like to let someone meet you where you are and not where you used to be? I want you to ponder on those things, okay? I promised I would not be on here for a long time, but for a summertime fine time. And I delivered. As always, share this with your guys, your girlies, anyone who needs a little bit of inspiration today, and I think that we all do. Listen to this as many times as you want to escape. Like and subscribe. And as always, remember, until next time, you are capable of big things.